Reimer. I'm a psychology major with minors in theater and classical studies at the University of Arkansas. Today I'll be discussing Night Zag Wall, a piece by Louise Nevelson, which is housed at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Among Nevelson's countless sculptures is Night Zag Wall, a 14-piece sculpture constructed of wood painted black. This piece was assembled between 1969 and 1974. Nevelson constructed several sculptures in the same strain entitled Zag, which are constructed in relief style and comprised of found objects arranged within many irregularly contoured cells. Night Zag Wall, like many other Nevelson pieces, falls into a lesser-known classification of art known as assemblage. It hangs on the wall like a painting. However, three-dimensional elements protrude from the substrate, much like a sculpture produced via additive technique. The most striking compositional features of Nevelson's Night Zag Wall are line and shape. The irregularly shaped lines seem to take precedence in the space over the underlying grid patterns formed by more regularly shaped objects. Space and depth are obvious factors in this piece. The individual trinkets included in this work extend outward from the central plane, creating a three-dimensional organic work of art. The main rectilinear sections are closed off to one another so that each one tells its own unique story. Nevelson utilizes clean 90-degree angles at most of the junctures between sections, forming a slight V and balancing the piece. Light and color play a much more subtle role. The piece is harmoniously covered in a single black matte hue, which absorbs all light. The monochromatic tone serves the purpose of unifying an otherwise unassociated mass of objects. Though there is not much to say regarding the color and light of this work, the matte black finish still has meaning. Nevelson's own words beautifully summarize the meaning of color in this piece. When I fell in love with black, it contained all color. It wasn't a negation of color. It was an acceptance, because black encompasses all colors. Black is the most aristocratic color of all. Furthermore, there are a myriad of textures throughout Night Zag Wall. Since these are all objects that Nevelson picked up off the street, there are a variety of everyday objects such as washers and pencils, but also not so common objects such as toy railroad tracks and decorated furniture legs. Though many of these objects are commonly seen in everyday life, and thus are representational, Nevelson's Night Zag Wall is categorized as an abstract work because of its non-naturalistic form that represents a larger idea. Nevelson's sculptures are largely associated with the feminist movement. Shortly after her schooling, her sculptures began gaining some traction in the artistic realm. Critics were astounded by the innovative use of materials and extolled the creator as one of the greats of modern art. Eventually, she was recognized for her art, and she became a symbol for defying stereotypes. She proved those who doubted her wrong and was commissioned for several works and asked to be part of many exhibitions throughout her later years. Nevelson challenged the idea of gender-typing careers in several ways, and Night Zag Wall is a beautiful symbol of bringing new life to the broken parts of the world. Nevelson's work belongs in the category of abstract expressionism, which occurred primarily in America during the mid-century. Abstract expressionism as a whole was influenced by earlier historical periods such as Cubism, Surrealism, and Dada art, but abstract art was not formally defined as a movement until the Great Depression. Texture was an incredibly important feature of abstract expressionism. Obviously, Nevelson's sculptures fit this convention well. Since the majority of Nevelson's pieces are veiled in a uniform color, texture is left with a huge story to tell. The diversity of textures that are afforded by the multitude of Nevelson's found objects serves as the most essential aspect of this piece. I chose to study Night Zag Wall because I have admired the work of Louise Nevelson for quite some time. The idea of making a beautiful, impactful work of art out of objects found on the street is inspiring to me. Making something out of nothing is a beautiful way of telling people that everything, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, has value. I was overjoyed to find out that one of Louise Nevelson's pieces was within driving distance of the university. I have enjoyed learning about her life, and I hope to be able to visit many more of her works of art in the future.